There it goes. Now we're live.
That's better. That's better. Yeah, I like that. Hello, everybody.
I'm always amazed at how fast my beard grows when I just kind of let it go for a little bit. Oh, this is like 3 weeks of beard growth. What up, Diamond? You need a little more light than that.
Turned off. Some sort of a delay here.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to operate this spaceship. You know, it's been a while since I've been running a spaceship.
You need to get like the telepathic controls going so it just like reacts to your thoughts.
Well, that's the first thing that Laurel told me. Like the first time she did a session for me, she said Starship Navigator.
Starships are most of the ones that, especially when you're at that level, most of them are telepathically controlled. And if you're not the one that's meant to control it, you won't see any controls whatsoever. Also, because it's kind of like a lot of those ships are kind of connected to your higher mind, and they're essentially aspects of your higher self, just physicalized. So,
Yeah.
literally, you can't just jump in someone's spaceship and take it for a cruise because the ship won't react or connect to you.
That's right.
So,
Well,
like every time that I'm connected to him, what I always end up seeing is like him kind of leaning against the wall on this little bed that just kind of like he's just kind of in stasis, and most of the interior is kind of white-ish with like this metal glass looking stuff around. So and let's see who else wants to join. Yay!
I'm gonna throw this on the Instagram.
That'd be good. I think I'm gonna shave this off after the live stream.
Taking off.
Yeah. Like I don't really have the patience. I know we're having such exciting talk right now, but I don't really have the patience to have a beard for all that long anymore. I used to let it grow all the time, like where I'd have a nice big. Yeah, no, it's like the thing about like at least what I've been shown from being inside like a UFO, it's like light emanates from everywhere. It's not just like you have like the light from the ceiling. It's just kind of like the whole like every surface just emits light. It's just everywhere. It's just kind of yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, your background kind of looks like a UFO.
It is.
We're all on the ship today.
That's why I like sitting here. It's great.
Yeah.
Here's the whole spaceship. You can see it.
Yeah.
There's a whole other room with this pattern. The next room.
Nice.
We'll broadcast, but this is quieter because the next room has a fridge, and it's a non-quantum fridge. It makes noise.
Dang.
Well, I did call it, spring predictions. This is what came to mind.
Okay.
We'll see.
Because we've here in Portland, we've had great weather for the last few days. It's actually been really nice not having a lot of rain.
Please.
Hi, Rosemary.
I put a couple follows there. I like it when it's straight to the head there.
Yeah.
There you
Well, I know we don't have that many people here yet, but hey, guys. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to jump, if you have questions, please feel free to put them into the chat, and we'll get going here. We'll periodically throw your guys' questions into the stream. So
Maybe we'll say that although we're not fully aware of what's going to happen today, we did. Just going to put
your cool glasses on.
my flight glasses. They're probably going to come off at some point.
Yeah. If they come off, they come off. It's not a big deal.
ET20. All right, we'll see what happens.
All right, give me a sec. How are you today?
Hello, hello.
Yes. We bring you a joyous conclusion to a particular cycle that you have been moving through and the start of a new one. The cycle of destruction that you have seen, the level of insubordination in your elected officials, you are starting to see many of them being exposed to the essence of your ability to connect and the ability to see through the particular narrative that they have brought forward. It may appear on the surface to be negative, but the fact that you are at the level where you are actually appearing to see these events happening more readily, more scandals, more things being exposed, this is part of the process of cleaning out, much in the way that you are now moving into your idea of time of spring. What is said of being able to do your spring cleaning in your northern hemisphere during this particular time of year. So you're being given an opportunity to clean these things out of your attic and cleaning out the things that you do not need. This is the particular information we would like to deliver right now.
Thank you, Ethium, and how are you?
Perfect.
Very good. I did notice and quite a bit of officials, whether elected or appointed, that are leaving their posts or saying things that showcase them in a light that they don't really know what they're doing, or they're doing the opposite of what they're supposed to.
Yes.
And that seems to be more and more prevalent.
You are in a time period where if you are not in alignment with your personal frequency or personal vibration that allows you to move forward, you will be exposed quite quickly and removed.
Yes.
To be more in alignment with your particular vibration and frequency, you have to be in alignment with your higher self. Therefore, the kind of connection and the meetings with beings like us will stop occurring.
Right. One would say, just by looking at various form of news, whether they're independent or not, the discrepancy between what governments, elected and appointed officials, are supposed to do, that what they're doing is complete contrast and opposite.
Yes, many people have been given power that was not necessarily meant for them.
Why would these people do things that are in exact opposite to the best of their people?
Many of the people that have been perpetrating these types of energetic incoherencies, the idea of power corrupting all, they are showing themselves because you are reaching a higher level where these things can no longer be hidden. Plus, many times in many situations, you also have the idea that absolute power corrupts absolutely, correct?
Right.
Well, the type of individuals that typically are drawn to these types of energy, these types of positions where they end up abusing the particular post, the position to their gain, many times they do not necessarily have the best interest in mind for the people that they are there to serve. So therefore, when they are put in those positions, they abuse them.
Yes. Ethan, would you say that that swaying of these people that were appointed or elected or selected, they're swaying from what they're supposed to do morally and professionally? Would you say it's
Well,
based?
it is
Yes.
more the idea that they are allowing their ego to run amok and tell them to do things that are not necessarily in alignment with who they are and what is necessary for the collective good.
Right. And how do you explain the people that follow them and vote for these people over and over again?
People become used to a particular frequency and vibration. Many of those kinds of people get used to a certain idea, a certain way of doing things, and many times these particular situations benefit the people who continually choose those opportunities, those particular individuals to continue to represent them because they energetically represent who they are. So, therefore, if they do not like the particular individual, it's still who they are. So, they will still vote for those things that match them frequency wise.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
Um, I have been noticing this more and more recently. Um,
yes.
my conversations with people, even on the street, have a lot to do with governance and dissatisfaction from our quality of life in relation to the cost of living.
Yes.
Would
You
that?
are being given an opportunity to decide how you would like to live, how expensive you would like to live, where you would like to live, because you are being given an opportunity to move away from the environment or into a time period of resetting in a way. So you're actually given an opportunity to decide your environment that you would like to propagate and grow in.
Yes, thank you.
These are all opportunities. Remember, anytime you come up against a situation that is not quite to your liking, not quite to your agreement, these are actually particular situations and times that you are being given to make a different decision. If what is you've been going through and have been working through for quite some time is no longer working for you, these opportunities are there for you to learn and to grow and to make a decision whether or not you want to continue on that particular path.
Thank you. I have a question regarding the people who are betraying us. Are they all organized and there is some sort of a manifesto or idea they're all doing it, or just they're doing it for greed and power?
They come from partially greed, partially from a misaligned belief that they are better than everyone else when they are part of the whole. In this sense, in your collective, in your earth people, these people are chosen to show you what is out of alignment. So, therefore, from a higher perspective, that is what they are serving you to show you where your system is out of alignment in every situation.
Thank you. Do you predict some of these people to be tried?
Some, most will just absorb back into the collective and take on different positions.
Would that
They are,
be enough to
remember,
cleanse?
they are being a reflection for you, you as a collective and you individually. If you believe that your government is corrupt, you will energetically attract those kinds of things.
Thank you. Regarding people moving,
Yes.
the people in my sphere here in Toronto, Canada, a lot, in Ontario, a lot want to move to Costa Rica or similar countries.
Yes.
But these are a few hundreds, maybe a year. Not. I don't think more than a few thousands.
Yes.
But then we see also moving of second and third world countries moving by the boatload and busload to North America, and those are not necessarily done to find a new life. Those seem to be organized chaos, sort of.
Many of the individuals that you are referring to from less developed countries, less financially stable countries, many of them come only temporarily. Remember that. They are not here to be forever. But the ones that do stick around, many times they end up having children, and those children do absorb into your communities and your populations.
Right.
But
Okay.
the people that are from the more advanced, more affluent areas of your world know that the environment that they are in is not sustainable. It is not productive or gives you the ability to prolong your existence in a healthy way. Because many of you, in the way that you are living now, are disconnected from nature. You
Right.
are a reflection of nature, you are part of nature. This is where most humans have become disillusioned with their living situation. But now, look at the particular places that they are choosing to move to because they are a match to moving back to being more connected to nature and being less disconnected from their own natural being.
You're referring to people that are moving to live back in nature,
Yes,
right?
you are seeing a movement among your population to downsize, to move to being farmers again, to being and working and living in harmony with the land. These are just the first steps in that particular direction that your population is starting to take.
Yes, that's correct. Just a few hours ago, I had a call with a friend, Daniel, um, who was setting up some sort of a communal farm and healing center in the east coast of Costa Rica.
Yes,
So that's a good example.
yes. Remember, all these things will show up in your life synchronistically as to why, when, and how. The how is not important. The state of being that guides you back to your natural state, your natural way of being, is the important part. So, therefore, these particular people that have heeded the call, they are acting in accordance with their higher mind that is telling them to go this direction that will guide them to the highest and best possibility for that particular individual.
We hear a lot about the move from 3D to 5D. Would that be an equivalent?
Yes, that is in accordance with the version of them that lives in that 5D existence.
Right. The need for nature and the truth
Yeah,
of nature.
yes.
Yes.
Because remember, when you're at that particular frequency, that higher vibration in fifth density, you are completely naturally yourself. You are no longer even physical.
Hmm.
You are 100% energy that expresses itself all the time, no matter what. You are more you are more shifting into the idea of fourth density, which is upper physicality, upper physical existence. Fifth density is more non-physical in nature. Remember this.
And the densities relate to the chakras, more or less?
Yes. What is your fifth chakra?
Sorry?
What is your fifth chakra?
It will be right here, solar plexus
No,
or throat.
your throat.
Throat.
You're learning to express yourself as a civilization and as a people and as a collective. Therefore, you have moved through the time and you're moving through the time of learning how to express yourself energetically, emotionally, spiritually, and verbally. Remember, when you live in a society where everyone is telepathic, nothing is hidden. Therefore, those parts and those aspects of yourself that you may have hidden now need and will be expressed in their own timing, but nothing can stay hidden.
I would assume we have a few generations until we get there.
Less than you think.
Okay.
You will be more in the next few years moving and more rapidly moving in that direction to where you actually are able to live more fully engaged in your nature. But this will happen sooner than you think.
Would people that are uh, grown ups now have their own lives together, or certain ways of living, would they also be able to develop telepathic abilities?
Yes. But the children, because they are coming in, we'll say pre-programmed in that particular direction, you are seeing more and more children actually naturally having these abilities to start with and not losing them as they age.
Right.
So therefore, as the adults in your life, the adults can teach the children can teach the adults to understand that you are more than just the physical body. So therefore, your ability to communicate becomes clearer.
Yes.
Your whole reality is alive, whether you understand it or can see it or not.
Alive or alive?
Alive.
Alive, yes.
You understand that plants are alive, correct?
Yes,
You understand that everything is made out of consciousness, everything's made of your energy and your reality, right?
I do.
Therefore, you are the reflection for all those things in your reality, and everything is alive. Everything is sacred. Everything is an energetic match to who you are. That is why it is in your reality.
I see. Thank you. I have some questions here from the chat, if that's okay.
Yes.
All right. Diamond Mind is asking, how can you process childhood trauma, and do you have any exercises?
We would ask you to understand when a particular emotion arises. We guided the channel to go through this particular activity, this particular exercise earlier this year to be able to process his own trauma, which made our connection much more clear. So, therefore, we would ask you anytime an emotional trauma, anytime you are activated, triggered in your responses to others, to ask it how old it is. Ask it how and why it is there. Ask it what it needs. Because understand that ultimately you may never get a response from the person that caused the particular trauma.
Right.
You, in a way, will be reparenting yourself and energetically changing the particular frequency that you have that aligns you to that particular memory, allow you to close your eyes, allow you to actually speak to the child, the version of you that received the trauma, or as an adult as the trauma. Allow the trauma to talk to you in your mind, out loud, whatever you need to. Ask it how old it is, and then allow it to tell you what it needs. Step back and be the observer of this particular emotional trauma and just love it. Allow it to be able to express itself in its unmet need. Because many times, those particular traumas that you received as a child are merely just unmet needs that need to be dealt with.
Right. Thank you. Do you also recommend, once you've spoken to the hurt child and figured and configured the issue and configured, to go back to the hurt child and go to a timeline where the child is no longer hurt, so that
That will
experience
automatically happen.
in you?
That will
Sorry?
automatically happen.
I see.
Those things automatically happen because you are no longer of a vibration where the child is hurt. Therefore, you will no longer carry the particular trauma or the frequency that has been held inside of your auric field for many years. You have shifted to a timeline where, in fact, you never had that trauma.
I understand. Thank you. Diamond is also asking, what density is the channel?
The channel that you see in front of you is third density, but he is transitioning to fourth. He
Thank you.
is staying in the position and the frequency that he is to be more of service to that you that are here to be able to make the shift as well.
Thank you. Lola Bola is asking, I read somewhere how the world's third eye chakra moves around through the other chakras every age, and it's about to transition from the heart chakra into the throat chakra.
Yes, this is necessary. You are learning to communicate. You are learning to express yourself. You are learning to see clearly. It moving into the idea of your throat chakra will allow it to see and hear and communicate clearly. This is why you will start to see many people become telepathic in nature. Many people express their truth clearly and be able to see clearly.
And perhaps express themselves clearly too.
Yes. Many of you have been told to not speak, not say things out loud, but this is not the age you're moving into. You are not meant to hold things in. You are not meant to not have your words spoken out loud, but understand that the words you speak do affect everyone around you, that you are, in a way, responsible for those things that come into your life, those things you have spoken into existence, the vibrational frequencies that you choose to match, that you choose to have part of your reality. Therefore, these are just opportunities.
Thank you. I listened to another channeler, and it came that there will be some sort of a wave of awakening for the first group, and that
Yes,
will help the majority awaken, and then there'll be at the end a group of people that are still clinging to the old ways.
yes,
Do you do you see it some unfolding along these lines?
similar. Understand that the awakening itself, because it is congruent in nature, it works together and it is positively oriented in nature. It's much more powerful, has much more oomph to it than if it was just individual. That is also why you are starting to see many individuals on your planet actually activating at this time. That is why there are so many channelers around currently and helping you, and also being able to make it so you can connect to higher beings to bring that understanding down into your physical world so you can move up.
Yes, yes. When someone awakens,
Yes.
is it that their world's view opens up, or do they absolutely completely feel completely different?
It's a process. Being able to open up to a higher level, a higher frequency, involves a process of undoing. It involves a revalidation and reassertment of what they want and what they need to be and who they need to be. It's not done in one go. It is a process that happens over a time of years. At least that is what has happened in the past. But remember, much like in the way that not being able to interact with us physically, my particular vibration would burn you out. This particular process, as you move up and down, up and down, up and down, all around, it allows you to go a little down, but you're also going a little up. And you're going a little down, and then a little huge up, and a little down, a little up. It's a process.
Right.
It's the step by step. Because understand when you are going through the process itself, it's teaching you how to be okay at that particular frequency, that higher vibration that you are experiencing in your life. So therefore, you can live more openly and freely.
Thank you. Do you suppose um, there's also talk about an event of sorts that will waken people up.
Yeah.
Is it simultaneous or just like everyone in their own time?
More of what you are going through currently is at your own pace, but there will be an event in the next few years that will be a more mass awakening.
And that event has to do with sightings, mass
Yes,
sightings.
yes.
Yes,
That is why you're seeing so many more ships and more footage of our crafts in your sky
right.
to help you get used to the idea. Because when you are moving up to a higher level, it is intense because you're moving up to a higher frequency that you are not quite ready for. So going little by little, which is why we keep telling you you do not want everything all at once. It would break you.
Right.
You will be given a chance to acclimate to the particular vibration, the particular frequency, little by little. But eventually, en masse, you will see more and more people actually waking up. That is why you are starting to see us and many other channels come through delivering similar information.
Thank you. How do I know when I've elevated and integrated?
You never stop, you just move up.
Right.
When you have integrated, it doesn't seem as foreign to you. It doesn't seem as odd to be able to just be and do that particular thing.
I'd like to give you an example, and you can tell me what you think about it.
Yes.
This recent week that just ended, I've had some physical and mental tasks, moving, packing, doing a lot of things at the same time, some work, some family.
Yes.
And it was quite demanding. And the end
Yes.
of it, a couple of nights ago, I was still good, but I felt it in my body. But I realized I've done all these tasks properly. I he wasn't really like, he was a big effort, but he wasn't a burden. I've done I did it with joy and with excitement, and I've
Yes.
noticed that perhaps in the past I wouldn't be able to perform so much and so much ease,
Yes.
and I did.
This is an example of integrating in the correct way to fully allowing yourself to actually experience the experience without defining it in a negative way. You know that the ultimate outcome of doing this particular thing will be positive. So therefore you do it joyfully.
Thank you. I have a question here from Rosemary.
Yes.
Rosemary is asking, is something happening in Pacific Ocean that will show Earth history? I keep hearing psychics talk about this to do with Lemuria or Atlantis? Question mark.
In the Pacific Ocean, in the southern part of it, and over much of the Pacific Ocean itself, in your world today, there are not very many things in the middle of that particular body of water, correct?
Correct.
In times past, there were continents, there were places where people lived that branched out over many magnificently large islands that sank into the ocean. You are going to see an unveiling of experiences and things they can no longer hide that have shown up in your past.
Okay, so are you speaking of ancient ruins or technology rising from the ocean?
Technology and
Technology.
ruins are the same thing. The
Right.
structures themselves, because of the way they are shaped and formed, you see these things over and over again. You see them in the different pyramids around your planet. You see them in different places around your planet from ancient structures, correct?
Yes.
Well, that is the idea. That is their technology. It is built into the technology, into the way they live. They live. You may think they would have been very primitive in nature, and by your current customs, they were, but they were quite advanced with what they could do. They can actually do things you couldn't even do today.
For example?
The large structures that you see around your planet that you can't quite explain or understand how they were able to actually put them in place and why they put them in the particular place in space that they actually did.
Right. What we call the megalith.
Yes,
Right, right. Okay. Or Cusco. The walls.
yes.
Okay, okay. I
Or
see.
Machu Picchu.
Yes.
Much of the ancient, the older architecture in these places around your world, Göbekli Tepe, you can't explain or why they put those in those particular spaces, but they are there for a reason.
Okay, so speaking of these ancient structures, which are also technologies,
Yes.
were they put all over the planet more or less in the same time by the same um, race or culture?
More of many of the megalithic structures that you are referring to were put in place by Atlanteans and even earlier, prior to the Atlantean Empire.
Do you refer it in specific to one of the three Atlantis or all of them?
A majority of the larger structures were put in place during the last age of Atlantis, the last Atlantis, but you also saw structures that were there long, long before the last phase of the Atlantean Empire.
I see.
You see different schools, or you see monoliths that are in places where no human could have ever gotten to. Understand the Atlanteans, they did have the ability to fly around your planet, had the ability to land on different areas around your world without airplanes
Right.
because they understood how to use vibration and frequency, and they did have balloons. They were able to propel themselves to different places around the world without needing to create paths.
And carry large pieces of stone?
Yes,
Right.
because they weren't carrying it.
Right.
The idea that you hear in your ancient literature over and over and over again that they sang the large stones into place. This is not a metaphor.
Right.
They literally sang these giant stones. They canceled the gravity. They allowed them to vibrationally move into the particular environment that they needed to be.
How were these stones carved?
Still vibrationally, but with water. You
Like
see many unfinished pieces of work in Egypt where it looked like they scooped out the actual stone from the ground. Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
The idea is you had particular abilities to connect to water and cut through the stone. Even the hardest stone on your planet is nothing when you understand the frequency of how to connect to the rock itself and how to connect to the water.
Right.
They have found very, very few tools when it came to doing and creating these particular objects. Correct?
Yes, correct.
The reason why they did not find tools is because they didn't leave any, because there were none. They were the tools.
Okay, I see. I believe that Ra mentioned in the original Ra channelings to
Yes,
Don Elkins that Giza was created by the Ra by power of mind or thought or something like that. It
yes.
was just appeared.
They were created in a higher level, in a higher vibration, and then it materialized into your physical world. And that can be materially, physically appearing by people building it and having the one singular vision.
How far are we now on this timeline from to reach that level of focus and togetherness?
You are still quite disconjointed at this point.
Right.
Belief is everything. Your belief around your world does not say you have the ability to connect, does not say you have the ability to levitate stones. You understand that you are, when you are in a group of people and there are people who do not believe that something is possible, you get much worse results, correct?
Sorry, come again?
When you are in a group of people, yes,
Yes.
if you have one person, even just one person, that does not believe what you are doing is possible, you see many times those endeavors fall apart.
True.
So, therefore, you are in a sea of people who do not believe things are possible.
Right. I see what you
So,
mean.
therefore, these particular people need time to adapt to a world that will not look like what they are used to.
I see. Thank you. I have a question here.
Yes.
Box Media 22. I saw a video on YouTube about a war that broke out between Atlantis and the kingdom of Hiva or Hiva. A
Yes.
devastating war. Can you please talk about this? Thank you.
The Atlanteans at the time period that you are referring to, this was during the second age of the Atlantis. The Hibai existed in India. And because at that time they were more closely related to the Lemurians that actually left, the understanding many of the teachings actually did move to India itself. The Atlanteans were trying to go to India in that particular area and remove information or technology that they no longer possessed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Ethan, I wanted to ask you about cancer. I read somewhere that cancer is a type of a parasite. Is that
No, no. Much in the way that you see cancer in your environment these days is more in recognition to the fact that you have been poisoned through your food, through your environment, by particular chemicals that are not in alignment with your environment. And you are seeing an increase in symptoms like cancer because they are alone. They try to recreate themselves and they end up killing the host.
what would you recommend to avoid or cure cancer?
The idea, and we do not say this because we are not a doctor in your senses,
Right.
we would say for each individual person, explore. There are many different types of treatment, but understand that each person has a different path to health. This is no different.
Fair enough.
Remember, all of this is case by case basis. This is not a one size fits all answer to anything.
Thank you. Back to parasites. Even if it's not cause of cancer, I hear it's major cause of all kinds of problems to people.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes. Would you like to know how to get rid of them?
Yes, please.
By detoxifying your body, by creating an environment that is not hospitable to their particular life. Understand that going back to the chemical part of our previous statement,
Yes.
those chemicals that you have in your Western civilizations, in your world currently, are killing you. The things that are sprayed on your food. This is why, en masse, you will start seeing more and more community gardens, more and more things that are not set up for people to be farmed en masse. This is why you see much of your civilization becoming one type of thing, man and woman becoming one thing, instead of understanding that these things are complementary to actually have both strengths.
I see. Thank you.
We don't come here to preach at you. Remember, you are ultimately the one that chooses the world you want to be on. This is why, in the past, when you have asked about health concerns in previous conversations, we say you would want to think about detoxifying your body first before anything. That includes emotional.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Even when we see more and more people move into the country and move into various formats of communal farms, there are still billions of people living in the cities.
Yes.
Uh, and as I'm one of them still at the moment, um,
Yes.
and as much as I try to keep a clean life, you go outside, you're exposed to everything. Lucky for me, there's a market I can buy food which is not less processed or not processed, organic. But
Yes.
most people don't really have access to the actually healthy food.
This is why you will be moving to smaller setups, more of a communal state. You are still in early stages.
Right.
Anything that you produce now technologically, whether it's farming, whether it's technology, whether it's robotics, whether it's communal, understand these are building blocks. They'll grow.
Do you see more hydroponics and vertical farming inside the cities, even inside people's homes?
This would be a easier setup for people living in the environment that you speak of.
Yeah.
But you are also starting to see more urban communal spaces where people can actually grow their own food.
Yes. It's quite common, at least here in Toronto, people use their backyards to grow some vegetables, and there are some communal gardens you can get from the city, but they're not a lot, but they do exist.
Yes, but
So it's
that's
a
the point. We are keep saying that you are at the beginning, and the beginning is always the hardest part.
yes,
It's okay to take time. It's okay to take the steps one by one. If you rush ahead with anything that you tend to make more mistakes. Don't take anything that does happen as negative. Understand that when these opportunities show themselves, they are giving you an opportunity to see where you still need work.
yes, and there's monumental work ahead of us, but I think we see the light now.
Yes,
We
you
see
have
that.
been going through a process for years now
Yeah.
of letting go, of choosing who and what you want to be, what version of Earth you would like to live on, what version of history you'd like to have.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's not so tough when you take it step by step. When you see everything from the microscopic, minute details and you see this thing and then this thing, it's okay to be overwhelmed. Everything's overwhelming when you first deal with it, but after you have dealt with it, it usually gets easier because you know the next step and then the next step and the next step.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you. I have another question here for Box Media 22.
Yes.
Speaking of farming, what are your opinions or cultured slash lab grown meat? Do you think it is more ethical? It does not involve killing animals, but rather growing meat from the cell of an animal.
In a way, when you are taking in that type of nutrients, you are not fully receiving life force. Many of those souls that do come to be food for you, maybe not the ones in your society currently, do know that they are incarnating to be food. They have a soul, just like you do. And some of them do know that they are there to be eaten. And then they go back into spirit.
So the cow knows its role.
Yes.
I see.
But
So
understand that the way they are treated is absorbed into you. So when
yes,
you eat meat from a very large farm that is specifically meant for slaughtering the animals, but don't necessarily take care of them properly, that are pumping them full of a ton of antibiotics or chemicals to make them look bigger, better, it's the quality of the meat that you eat, the food that you eat. Many of your indigenous cultures in the North American continent ate meat, correct?
correct.
You view them as very spiritually evolved, correct?
Yes,
So what's the problem?
very good.
But also understand, we would say this, understand, listen to what your body needs. Listen to what your body is craving and needing. It will always call for what is in its highest and best good. Unless you're addicted to something.
Right. Thank you. I want to ask you about um, physical, intimate, social needs.
Yes.
Listening to your body needs in terms of food, I get that. Um,
Yes.
I'm curious, in the quote unquote old world, men and women will usually form a family cell of sorts
Yes.
together with a child or more and live together. And today it seems that a lot of the young people prefer to live by themselves and perhaps not connect on the long term with someone else.
Many people in your society are dealing with a lot of trauma. They've
Right,
deemed it to be more safe to just be by themselves. Understand that anyone you are intimate, you are taking on bits of their energy, their past, their energy, and it does stay in your auric field for quite some time.
right.
But sex is fun. The shame that you have felt from the way you have been guided and taught through your formative years when you are maturing changes the view that you have towards yourself and your partners that you choose to interact with in that way. We would say that not carrying the shame of those past and understand that the connections that you make in those particular times and places in a consenting way for each party involved, not just taking what you want because you want it, but understand that having it be holistic when you are connecting to a person, that it is there for you to grow, to expand. Understand that this particular type of medicine really connects you to your base root chakra and your sexual chakra that allows you to fully more integrate into society. There's no shame in needing and saying that you have a desire to have interaction with others in that way.
Thank you. But why is that? Even if I had a great intimate interaction with someone, sometimes myself, other people would feel not good, even depressed after an experience like that, which was elating at the moment.
Because you are taking energy on from the other person, and the other person may have a great deal of shame they have not quite dealt with yet.
Would during, I'm sure that our higher selves are also interacting.
Yes.
What if after an intimate session with someone, would our higher selves still interact with each other?
Yes. You are making a very powerful connection.
Right.
It doesn't fade. You still, every person that you've ever had intimate connection with, you still carry a bit of them with you, no matter who you are.
Right. So you can still access that.
Yes. But understand that those particular people may not want to actually continue connecting with you and be okay with that.
Right.
Not everyone is meant to have a lifelong relationship.
Right. Yeah. So that's my main point. Like, if it seemed like more people are by themselves, perhaps, like you say, it's because of trauma, but that's
Yes,
okay for them to process and live by themselves, and may perhaps not to be in relationship with someone else,
yes,
just work on themselves.
yes.
Okay.
But in time, many of those people will even find out that they want connection. You don't just stay at one phase for your entire existence, correct?
Hopefully, yes.
You are different people at different points in your life. You have different desires, different appetites, whether it's food, whether it's sex, whether it's the place where you live. When you're ready to move on, ready to move to a different way of being, you'll do it.
My daughter was asking me, and thank you. My daughter was asking me the other day, Daddy, why do you like this? You don't like that? What's your favorite color? And I really didn't know what to answer. Why do I like a certain color? Why do I like a certain flavor of ice cream, but not the other? What is that?
Because you are not a vibrational match to those things you don't like. It's all about vibration and frequency with everything. Imagine the question that you just asked about having sex or intimate connection with another person. You really like that person to start with when you were going to have that sort of connection, correct?
Correct.
And then later on, you found out this person was not quite the match for you.
Right.
Does someone need to explain that preference to you?
I see. But yes, but I guess I'm trying to ask, how did I initially like chocolate and not vanilla? Strawberry but not mango.
You were initially given opportunities in your younger years to start developing your taste as to what you'd like to have in your life. Stuff tastes good. This color makes you feel good. This person makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
Those things bring up inside of you the stuff you have not quite dealt with when you typically described it as bad.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're going to be given an opportunity to decide, hey, I like this. I don't like that. It's simple preference.
Okay, and these preferences are developed at early childhood?
Yes.
Okay, so you not come with these preferences.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes things from other incarnations do carry over into your current incarnation. And understand that that's okay. You're just having a very strong connection to another aspect of yourself.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
There's no shame in any of this. You may have a thing that makes you say, I like the color green. I like the color black. It's just a particular vibration that you're matched to at that given time.
Right.
Much like the shame that runs through much of your society, previous experiences, previous childhood experiences that have not been dealt with. Going back to the earlier question, you're being given opportunities in many situations to deal with these particular energetic connections so you can have a different perspective when you're actually connecting to these environments and these types of experiences.
Thank you. Ethan, I know I brought this before, but I'd like to ask you again a bit about karma. If you can explain a bit what is karma and if it's carried from one life experience to another.
In a way, yes. In a way, no. In a way, yes, in the sense that you may have not quite finished out the karmic contract, that you did not quite get the lesson from the previous incarnation or the incarnation that you're currently having in another time period, another place, as another person. And then you could have new themes that you'd like to play through in this particular incarnation. So, in that sense, yes and no.
Right.
It's a case by case basis.
Right.
None of you know, you've all been through this experience many times before, and you know how this works. It's just you have forgotten how it works from this level.
Right. When I do good to someone or when I hurt someone, do I generate karma in a certain direction?
Not in the way that you think. What you put out is what you get back. When you incur negative karma, as you say, it is more of the idea when you receive the negative karma You have put out a negative frequency onto the world, and you're just returning the particular thing. Treat others as you like to be treated. What you get put out is what you get back. The golden rule. This is why this keeps showing up over and over and over again.
So when I treat people badly, I'll
Yes.
receive more opportunities to do that.
Yes. It's a reinforcing principle of creation.
Okay. Ethan, is there anything significant about this spring coming that we should be aware of?
You're coming alive. New life is springing out of every place, every situation. So you're given a chance to come alive.
That's wonderful.
Yes. Your world is quite lovely during this time of year.
Yes, it is. Should people be worried about financial crashes or wars or anything like that, or should people live the highest possible version of themselves possible?
At all times, you should be living the highest and best possible, but understand that version of you, that's the highest and best version of you, changes. It's not just, I am rich today. Understand that it could be as simple as sitting under a tree, having something nice to drink in the shade while you read a book. That could be the best version of you. Another version of you could be that you traveled across the world and spent the entire last 6 months enjoying yourself, living the high life. But you also could understand that just connecting to another person, showing up and being that ear or being that person that that person needs in that moment. That also is a highest and best version of you.
Right.
Be
And there's
caring.
right. So there's no necessarily. I see some people say, I have a bucket list. I must do all these things. Not necessarily. I mean, if you sit
They
and read,
feel they feel guilty that they are not where they thought they should be at this point in their life. That is why they're saying, I should do this, I should do that. This is coming from a negative place of not feeling fulfilled in their life and the path they've taken.
I see. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, I've acquired 7 books today, and I'm so excited about reading them. And to me, that'll be best use of
Yes,
my.
yes, you are following your excitement. You are living your best life of what you deem as worthy to how you would like to express yourself in your reality.
And when you follow your excitement, you shouldn't be worried about all the things you're not following.
Because it's not necessary in that moment. We would never say something where you hurt someone is positive. We would say that understand that those things that help you and everyone else and is exciting in that way is necessary and is a particular direction you can take with your particular highest vibration, your highest frequency, your highest excitement in all situations.
Right. So for me, sitting there reading the book, for that moment, reading those few pages, that's the best. That's so. That's the best for me.
Yes. Much in the way when the channel himself enjoys dancing quite a bit. When he is on the dance floor, he has grown to a level where he is able to inspire other people to want to reach that level themselves.
Yes.
He
Very.
finds this very exciting. He finds the moment of exhilaration of spinning and moving a partner across the floor to do very big flashing moves. To be his excitement, that is why he speaks of it so often, because it excites him in so many different ways, on so many levels that he cannot fully articulate in most cases. That is why he's magic to him.
Right. He did make the local news.
Yes.
Yes. Very good.
We
Ethan,
would say to take a few more questions and then we'll be done for the time being.
thank you. I would really like if anyone from the stream would like to put any questions, please type them now. And I do feel a positive excitement coming for this spring and for this rebirth version of rebirth. What else
Yes.
can we do to make this spring like no other?
Remember that when you go out into the world, those things that excite you to go do, go express them. Be an inspiration to others around you in the possibility of living an exciting, fulfilled life.
Yes. I have a question here. There's a question from Diamond Mind. How will the 3D and the 5D separation look on the planet physically?
Perfectly. Physically, you will see some people splitting off into a reality. You won't right away recognize that you have shifted into 5D or into 3D. Understand that the way your life works out in either a positive or negative way, or staying very dense in nature, will determine what reality you have shifted to. Remember, this shifting is automatic. You do not know you're shifting to that higher frequency, but understand that your personal frequency will play into everything.
Does someone oscillate between 3D and 5D, or once you reach that level, you just stay there?
Eventually, you do just stay in one particular reality.
Once you master that vibe, I guess.
Yes, when you are completely in vibrational harmonics with the higher frequency, eventually you will just stay in that particular domain.
I see. And in order to stay there, we could simply live our best and highest lives. Yes?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
It's not complex what we're saying to you. It
No.
is very straightforward. It is very simplistic in nature, but being at that high frequency is the more simplistic way of living.
Therefore, it doesn't need to take time. It's just a matter of being there.
Yes. We would say in nature, when you actually take a stance and a willingness to go that particular direction, we would say ground your energy into your world by incorporating the particular vibration that happens and occurs in your experience and your connection to your particular being.
Yes, thank you.
It is very easy to allow these types of experiences to remain in the ether, but the more you can ground them into your reality, that this is your reality, the longer you will stay in that higher vibration and that higher frequency, and your reality will start to reflect back to you that you are in that higher state.
Yes. All it takes is a few deep breaths, really.
Sometimes.
Yes.
And sometimes you may require you to take massive action.
Right. And eventually you'll stay there.
Yes,
Yes.
it's exciting.
Very good. Thank you, Ethan. Anything to close from you?
We would ask that you go out and enjoy the world, for it is there waiting for you to enjoy it. Good day.
Good day. Thank you.
Ah, that was good.
Good day.
Hi, everyone. Oh, man, that was active today. Um, Thank you guys for showing up. That was fantastic. You're really, really red, Joseph. Or Joseph. It was great seeing you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great evening, and I love that you guys keep showing up. Come on back next time.